Hello and welcome back to Paradise Park. We're going to be talking about the history of Universal Studios Florida.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner. In the great tradition of Hollywood, I'd like to welcome you to a major studio sneak preview. Tonight, the Disney MGM Studios theme park will officially open to the public. But as the final touches are being put on this wonderful new...
So, in 1987, Universal Studios ordered a press conference to discuss the plans for what would be known as Universal Studios Florida. So yes, after if you didn't know this, they were looking towards Paramount Pictures to help them sponsor the project. So by this, Michael Eisner, you know him, the big hit of the Disney Corporation. So yeah, he was actually there when they were discussing the plans of Universal Studios Florida. Universal had plans for a tram tour experience and a working movie studio. Well, the plans didn't really happen because Disney took them, and Universal decided to come up with the slogan, "See the stars, ride the movies." So then, you can probably guess what happened next. Here we go.
And now we've got Universal Studios. Well, the grand opening tomorrow, Universal is the latest major attraction to open up in the Orlando area. And we sent Wendy Ross over to check it out. She joins us live via satellite from Universal Studios.
John and Diane, I have to tell you that this was a tough assignment. I'm very glad, however, that I was the one chosen to brave this weather and come out to Universal. It has been an absolutely glorious evening. Glorious from the standpoint of what Mother Nature provided, because she gave us a spectacle, but to be sure. As a matter of fact, I'm standing in front of Mel's Drive-In. And you might remember Mel's because it was in the movie American Graffiti. And a little bit farther down the way, down that way, is Rodeo Drive. This is the closest I've ever been to Rodeo Drive. And I do have my credit card. Yes, I do.
Universal Studios Florida officially opened June 7th, 1990. Their previous attractions, which was the opening day rides, were Jaws the Ride, Confrontation, Earthquake the Big One, and the E.T. Adventure, and the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera. Also, the Universal Horror and Makeup Show, which is still operating at the park to this very day. And also, we're going to be going into depth of how was the opening day of Universal. So the park opened, like a normal theme park would open for the first time. Well, let's just say the big 3 attractions had issues: Earthquake, Jaws, and Confrontation. Well, these issues were power failure, power outages, and plenty more errors, so they Confrontation. Confrontation was a ride at Universal Studios Florida, the main attraction in the New York section. It opened as one of the original attractions in the park, which we just said, and it was closed September 8th, 2002, and it was replaced by Revenge of the Mummy. The ride is based off the movie King Kong, and you go on a tram in Roosevelt Island, and you go through New York City, but then you see Kong himself, the king, and you don't want to mess with him because he's rampaging through New York City, and you have to get out of there. But here's the thing, though: you get about 3 inches close to him, and it becomes a fight for survival. But guess what? You survive. So next ride we're going to be talking about is Earthquake the Big One. It also had opened with the park in 1990. So Earthquake the Big One is a pyrotechnic show, which is not really a show, it's a ride, where you go in a subway station, and it's themed off the movie Earthquake, 1974's Earthquake the Big One. And also, if you are following my channel for years, I'm a big fan of Earthquake the Big One. And so this ride took you to the San Francisco Embarcadero, and your main goal is there to survive. And like, it was basically, they get to educate you about movies. The next ride we're going to talk about is called Jaws the Ride. Jaws the Ride, when it first opened, had major issues. The company who built the ride, they got sued. And so they actually got sued really bad by Universal. It was the company who built it was Ride and Show Engineering, which designed the original tour scene. Steven Spielberg, who directed the first film in the series, also served as a creative consultant for the ride. It experienced extensive and persistent breakdowns, and a result of elaborate special effects involved. And here's the thing: guess who was on the ride when it broke down? None other than Steven Spielberg and his family were on the ride. So then it became so bad that they got Totally Fun Company, Intamin, ITEC Entertainment, Oceaneering International, who together fixed the issues of Jaws the Ride. And it became a major hit. The ride reopened on spring of 1993. So Jaws, the ride opening, was reopened by Roy Scheider and Lorraine Gary, which is one of the stars from Jaws 1974 or 5. I can't remember which one. I'm a movie geek and I can't remember which one. That's sad. So the next ride we're going to be talking about is called the E.T. Adventure, this is pretty iconic ride. It's still there to this very day. So you are here to save E.T. You need to take him back to his home planet. So E.T. Adventure was designed by Sally Corporation, and it originally opened with the park in 1990. 1 year later, the attraction opened at Universal Studios Hollywood in 2001. And also, The Hollywood version, if you didn't know, was replaced by Revenge of the Mummy. And if you look on Google Earth, you can still see the lettering for E.T. Adventure on that version. So this ride is one of a unique kind of a ride. Your goal is to take E.T. back to his home planet, the Green Planet. Also, in 1993, a famous ride opened up. The ride is known as Back to the Future, the Ride. So this ride was designed by Intamin. The system was designed by Intamin. So, in 1990, the movie Back to the Future Part 3 came out. And it was replaced by, The Simpsons ride, which is not my favorite. The ride's backstory is centered on the first-person adventure in pursuit of Biff Tannen, the villain of Back to the Future. Steven Spielberg, executive producer of the films, served as a creative consultant for it. This ride was a massive hit and actually saved the park from failure. 2 years already been open, and it became a hit like that. But then Universal decided to do something really good. They announced to all the guests that a new park was coming. A new walkway area was coming. But before we talk about that, we're gonna talk about all the original attractions because we haven't actually gotten through it. So in 1991, the Blues Brothers show opened, a musical stage show featuring the Blues Brothers from the movie. Also, in 1995, A Day in the Park with Barney opened. A live sing-along stage show featuring Barney and friends. Also in 1998, Curious George Goes to Town opened. A huge play area with 2 water throws that dumps gallons of water on its visitor every few minutes. And then in 1999, the year Islands of Adventure opened. A Simply Woodpecker themed Vekoma family coaster. This roller coaster is known as Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster. And then in 1992, Fievel's Playland, which is still there to the park to this day. All the rides I mentioned are still there, but some of them are not there. A playground based on the American Tail. And also, the Wild Wild West Stunt Show, which opened in 90 through 94, open to the public. Also, if you didn't know this, Nickelodeon Studios was at Universal Studios at the time when the park first opened. So also, they used to actually have a little tram tour because what I said a while ago, Disney took the idea. The production studio tour closed because they stopped making movies or like TV shows at Universal. Before we talk about Islands of Adventure, we're going to talk about the Ghostbusters Spooktacular. Was one of the other attractions at Universal Studios Florida. Closes in 1996. In 1996, the Ghostbusters Spooktacular closes on November 8th. And at the same time, T2 3D Battle Across Time opens in the Hollywood area. This show is based off the Terminator series, mainly the second one, which is one of my favorites. Also, now we're getting here. 1997, a huge year for Universal Studios. Universal announces that Ghostbusters Spectacular will be replaced by Twister Ride It Out, with the planned opening of spring 1998. Universal Studios also announced that the Seoul Studio Park would be expanded to Universal The Escape, including the Islands of Adventure Park and Universal City Walk, and multiple hotels. The previous center opened in the New York. Universal delays the opening of Twister Ride It Out from March 1998 to May 4th, 1998, out of respect for the 42 deaths caused by a recent El Nino outbreak of tornadoes in the Central Florida area. Twister Ride It Out opens in New York area, replacing the Ghostbusters Spectacular. Thank you for joining me for this video today on the part 1 of the Universal Studios history and the humble beginnings. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. We will be working on a new video for Islands of Adventure soon, featuring the co-owner of my park, Mike Muggs. So get ready. It's going to be a heck of an adventure. See ya.